Hi everyone, welcome back for another garden tour. It is just me today. Matt is actually busy getting lots of things ready for butchering in a couple days. We've got the meat birds are all ready to go, and he's just crossing those T's and dotting those I's and making sure everything is all set up and ready to go. They're doing really well considering it's been an interesting journey. So I wanted to take you out in the yard today to show you how some things are doing that I don't always get a chance to show you. If you watched that video last week, you saw we planted some comfrey around our 3 fruit trees out here. Our pear tree is doing so well, but it hasn't blossomed yet. This is a golden spice pear tree, and we just planted it last year, so it's doing really well. It did have I think 1 pear on it last year, so it would be really great if we got some, but I'm not gonna hold my breath on that. Our peach trees are a little sparse on the green, so I don't know if that's really typical. We also planted these last year and they had peaches on them when we planted it. We did talk to someone we knew who's had peach trees for decades and said that their peach trees almost inevitably have peaches every other year, so I'm just not going to stress about it. I'm sure we'll get peaches eventually. So I don't think Matt showed you, but he put in a new garden bed right outside the garden here. He did not put a bottom on it because this is where we have forage and some flowers planted, so maybe some of those will still come out, but I did have him plant out some more borage out here. And then we have the rest of those onion sets we purchased since our other ones weren't doing great. He also planted a peony flower he purchased, and then there's something coming up right here. I think it is hyssop. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's what it is. We've had lots of volunteers coming up in the garden. We noticed a little cucumber coming up right next to our lettuce here. It's a little bit too far from our trellis to be able to easily hook up on there, but we'll see. Lettuce is still doing really well, and our strawberries are starting to flower. I do need to get out here and weed soon, but right now we're just in the process of trying to get everything planted. Garlic is humongous. I think before we know it, we're going to be picking some garlic scapes, and I just can't wait. So this pear tree, I always get the name wrong. I always want to say Ur, but I think it's like Ur. This pear tree is really green and looks great. It got just a handful of blossoms and they all died right away. But the tree looks great. Our raspberries are doing really well. In fact, so well that they have just taken over everything. So I'll come out here soon, hopefully, and get some trimming done. Our cabbage in the last week has just blown up. Some of these plants are so big. As big as like our total plants got last year, so super exciting. Our potatoes, are making sure we're watering these really well on the sides and the top, and hopefully they do well. I did come out here the other day and plant some broccoli. It was broccoli we actually purchased. You hear the pigs? It was broccoli we actually purchased from the store because ours wasn't looking too hot. And I got 2 rows way down here on the end of the garden. This is kind of our notorious for not growing well spot. But I noticed during the heat of the day, it does usually get quite a bit sunnier and warmer out here since Matt took some of these trees down. But I do want the broccoli to be a little bit shaded, and hopefully that'll help it not bolt so easily. I ended up having a few left over, and then we had some of our own broccoli that didn't bolt. So I did plant that up here next to the cabbage. So all that broccoli looks like it's not doing the greatest, not as well as this cabbage. I wish we had gotten it out sooner. And I didn't even get our cauliflower in. I moved it out here because I keep meaning to get it done, and it is such an odd color. So I don't know. We gave it some fish fertilizer, and maybe we gave it too much. So now we're just kind of waiting to get it in, and pretty much everything can go in now. We're gonna wait till the end of this week to plant tomatoes and peppers. But pretty much everything else I want to really get in as soon as I can, and it's just a matter of finding time to do it all. So this bed Matt put in here, this has just been awesome. Like, I don't know why we waited so long to put these in. Matt planted some perennial flowers outside. I think these are hydrangeas from my mom. So, and then I think this is just a pansy he planted. And lots of onions. Leroy came through with the onion sets and just plopped them in wherever there wasn't an onion coming up. Either it had died or washed away. I also planted some other flowers. Oh, it looks like this one isn't doing so hot. I bet it doesn't get watered so well because I usually water from up there. A geranium, not sure what that one was. Some Gerber daisies. Another geranium. And then his little purple coneflower, the lone one that came out. That other hydrangea is planted right here. So my mom gave me 3 different ones. I think one is white, blue, and one is pink. So it'll be exciting to see which one is which. I'm pretty sure the one with the white flower is the white one. And then that peony that my mom gave me that we planted last year is coming up. And it looks like we're going to get some flowers on it. Last year we got to this point and then they just never opened. So I'm hopeful. These big bushes, they usually get pretty full of flowers, and they're not my favorite, but they are pretty. The rhubarb we planted last year from seeds, doing really well. And then these onions right here are doing really well too, and that peony that we completely forgot was there. So as we've been changing up our beds and things, we've had to add different things to deter the kids from going in the places that they always used to. So this big path here, not just kids, dogs too. We've been trying to keep the dogs off of this area, and probably a little fence would do great, but so far we're doing all right. There is a path that everyone can walk down. And then Matt put this earth box in here with just some flowers. So it's kind of deterring anyone from cutting over and cutting off some of these onions. Our rhubarb plant, oh, look at this. This is the one that's been here. I think I planted it like right after we moved into our house that first spring. But I haven't cut anything off of it yet, and I really actually prefer rhubarb if it's been frozen first. So I'm going to be cutting a ton off of that this week and getting it in the freezer, because May is kind of my last chance to do this. I mean, it comes from nothing to everything in May, but it has been going to seed. So every time I catch one of the seed pods, see if there's still one on here, I just break it off and then I kind of put it by the base, just some more nutrients. Here's one I broke off. But yeah, we will have so much rhubarb. You've seen a lot of the greenhouse, but we've got a lot of things that need to get planted out. So what I did is I put everything in order from like what's most important. So our kohlrabi, our elderberry, this looks like, is this pumpkins? Nope, cantaloupe, melons, pumpkins, celery. Oh, these are cucumbers. And zucchini's in there somewhere. I can't remember which one it is. And then our peppers, our hot peppers, and our tomatoes. Evan and I were planting in here the other day, and this is super late, but we planted it anyways a few days ago. Radishes, more radishes, turnips, and a whole bunch of kale. I wish I had gotten this in earlier, but this section of the bed had these trays in it for so long. Finally took this tarp down. It's just been a really weird year for all that. All the greens in here are doing so well. In fact, I'm gonna cut some. I have some arugula in the house, and I think I'm gonna cut some spinach and some mustard for sure. We're gonna have stir fry for supper, and then just for breakfast for eggs, it's nice to have it already in the fridge. Carrots are doing really well. All of these herbs are doing great. These onions, the calendula, we've got the mint, lemon balm, chamomile, parsley, the cumin, these chives. Look how pretty. I need to move them outside, but they're just so pretty in here. I keep leaving them. And all this stuff is just doing so well. I need to cut and save a lot of it, but there's just so many things going on all at the same time. I did notice I have quite a few mullein plants outside my greenhouse, so I think what I'm going to do is probably wait until they flower. Not sure if it'll be this year or next, but let's see if I can get through here. I've got these mullein plants, and I'm hoping to save some of the flowers and make kind of like a chest rub of sorts, and just hopefully I can do that. If not, I can use these leaves, but I do really want to get that done, but priorities. So I do want to show you our lilacs are just in full bloom. Kids have been bringing them to their teachers and just everyone in their lives. But look at these beautiful lilacs. I need to pick some and get them inside. Don't they look pretty? Last year I tried some lilac lemonade and we didn't really care for it. So I don't really do anything special with the lilacs, but it would be fun to do something with them. I have never made lilac jelly, but being we didn't like the lemonade, I'm thinking we probably wouldn't like it. But if nothing else, they're really pretty. So I hope you enjoyed watching this garden tour and tour around everything growing in our yard and such. And if you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and glad you got to see me again. Bye.